Welcome back to Elevator Pitch once more. I am Hazel, sitting next to me.
It's Altair.
And with us, a special guest once more.
Andres.
Woo!
Yeah.
Our very good friend, Andres.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for accepting.
Yeah, you could have said no.
I was gonna do it, but then I said I don't have that many friends. I have to.
You have to fill the time with something these days.
To invest some of my time in keeping.
Yeah, so if you haven't listened to us before, what we do here is basically we pitch each other films the others haven't seen yet. We give the person pitching gives us a little pitch and 5 reasons why we should like this film. And then we basically just talk about it, go through the plot, and give each other our opinions.
Right.
So, for this week, for the topic of comfort films, you gave us George of the Jungle.
Right, I did. Disney's George of the Jungle, a favorite of mine.
Oh, nice.
A great masterpiece.
Great masterpiece of filmmaking.
Exactly. So, do you have your elevator pitch?
Oh, no, I forgot. No, yes, I do, of course.
Cool.
Good,
go for it.
Okay, so I'll start with a synopsis of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, George of the Jungle, a man raised by apes in the middle of the African wilderness, meets Ursula Stanhope, the young heiress of a wealthy family, after saving her from a lion during an excursion in the wilderness. After many wacky shenanigans, they start falling in love with each other. However, Ursula's obnoxious fiancé Lyle van de Groot, along with Ursula's uptight mother, will do everything they can to stop this romance from happening.
Cool.
Nice.
Pretty good summary.
That's pretty much it.
Just wacky shenanigans.
Wacky
Yeah, it's
shenanigans.
pretty wacky movie.
Yeah. And your five reasons why we should like it? Or?
Yeah, my 5 reasons why you should like it and why I find this my comfort film. I think, first of all, it has a really likable cast of characters. I think the actors and the characters in general are all likable. Like, I think it's just they're very charming. I don't know. I think Brendan Fraser as George works really great because this is I think he's a very good looking guy, but he also he can play this kind of like doofus, like this goofball character. He's like very dumb and he's like slamming into trees and stuff and like doing ridiculous stuff, and he just comes off as very natural, like kind of like an innocent hot guy. I don't know, like
A himbo.
yeah, basically. And also, like, this actress, female lead, Leslie Mann, she plays the female lead in this movie. She's also like, he has a lot of chemistry with him. They're both kind of like dumb and I don't know, like innocent, I guess.
Yeah.
And the bad guy, I think Lyle, this actor, he played the Sandman in Spider-Man.
Oh,
So weird.
yeah.
But in this movie, he plays this jerk. It's like, what an asshole. And he's like he has no redeeming qualities. He's just
I know. I spent the
worst.
entire movie like, how did she get engaged to this guy?
because of social reasons. Like, but this is the worst boyfriend, the worst fiance ever. He's such a coward and a jerk. And oh my God. But he's funny. It's fun to watch him because it's so annoying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like John Cleese as the ape. I find him hilarious. I actually first time I saw this movie in English, and I think it's funny. Like just seeing a gorilla speaking like John Cleese is funny. And I just find the whole cast is like lovable and fun.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I think my second point is that there's lots of cool animal performances. I feel like nowadays you can't have any animals in films. It's like very there's a lot of regulations and stuff, which is good for the animals, but
not for
But
the
not for-
humans.
but not for the humans.
Not for the audiences.
No,
Not for our entertainment.
no, because like nowadays we're I don't know. There was, for example, this Doolittle film,
Yeah.
and basically like there's no point in making an animal movie if all the animals are gonna be fake. Because people want to see real animals. Like, it's like if you go to a zoo and they show you like a hologram of a lion, there's no point. You want to see the real thing. And in animal movies, like the previous Doctor Dolittle with Eddie Murphy, it's cool because he has animals. He has like a real
Actual
tiger
animals, yeah.
and a real, I don't know, penguin. I don't remember. And I feel this movie has also like an elephant a tiger. No, it has a lion.
Couple of
Monkeys.
monkeys.
Has a toucan.
Yeah.
It has well, I don't know, lots of cool.
I mean, yeah, other than ape and the elephant, they're all real animals, aren't they?
Yeah, and then they use this mix of like fake animatronics and puppets and stuff, and like, some really bad-looking puppets, by the way, like the lion. During the fight, sometimes transforms into a rag doll or something. It's just funny, but there are real scenes with the lion, and when they're fighting, it's like, oh, that looks dangerous, like. But it's cool to see animals performing, even though they're probably being abused or something. It's just amusing to people.
Amusing. There you go.
But I mean, that's the thing. The thing is, we don't need more animal movies. We have the ones that were already made. So those poor animals that were mistreated, thank you a lot for your sacrifice. And
we're getting some joy out of it.
And now we just don't need that anymore. My third point is, I think this is a movie that's very easy on the brain. And it doesn't overstay its welcome. I think it's a very easy to watch movie. Like, you can just, you had a bad day, you're like stressed or whatever, you just put this movie in and you just don't need to do anything to comprehend it. It even has a narrator that tells you the movie. Like, it's a movie for dumb people. Even though the humor is sometimes not dumb. I feel some of the jokes are kind of smart, and I don't know, I find it funny. It's just, I love movies where you don't have to do anything. Basically, the movie just enters your brain directly. Like, no reason. You don't have to like use your brain cells or something to understand. My fourth point is, I think this movie has its own unique sense of humor that I think it's you don't see that common in movies, because it's a stupid, basically slapstick comedy. It's a guy that slams into trees. He springs from a vine and slams into a tree. That's the whole joke. But they also have like a lot of this weird like meta humor where they suddenly like they acknowledge that they're in a film. Like, it's like, meanwhile, in a very big and expensive waterfall set, like, and it's like, okay, and then they always talk about like the characters in the movies and the tropes and the stuff.
I mean, in a way, it's a weird mixture of that kind of humor. I guess maybe that's aimed more at the the parents, I guess, watching, because I felt like I noticed sort of the age demographic that this film was aimed at, which was obviously young kids.
Yeah, this is a kids movie. Like,
so I don't know, it's sort of slightly weird combination in a way, having that kind of meta humor as well as just slapstick.
Yeah. But as a kid, I thought it was so funny. Like, suddenly, I love the scene where they're in the bridge and like the one character dies.
Oh yeah.
He just dies. He falls on the bridge and dies. And he's like, oh my god! And then he's like, don't worry.
In this, nobody dies in our film.
This movie. They just get very big boo-boos. Like, the guy has like a thing in the face, and like he just fell like 100 meters or something.
Yeah, that was quite good.
But I guess Indiana Jones survived. We were talking about Indiana Jones the other day. If he can do it.
That is true.
And so I think it's funny, and I hope there were more films like this made for me. Just so that I can laugh at the stupidness. And I love physical comedy. I love seeing people slipping and falling and crashing into things. And it just makes me laugh. And my final point is that I think it has a very childlike and innocent tone. I feel like many like movies from this era, I don't know, like Scary Movie and this kind of comedies were like very like I don't know, raunchy. I don't know how you say, like always about like sexual stuff and like I don't know, toilet humor and stuff like that. And this is kind of like unique in the sense that it's more like nice humor, but it's still funny. Like, not all the jokes are that great, but it's just nice to see sometimes just like a nice movie. Just like people
just
are happy in the movie. Nobody dies.
Yeah.
Everything resolves in the end. There's very little conflict, and even the conflict that is in the movie is played for laughs. Like, even the narrator says, "Don't worry, in this movie no one dies," and he says that in the beginning of the movie. That already leaves you like with no tension during the movie. Like, okay, this is this kind of movie, and it has a kind of nice message. It's like you can be an idiot, but you shouldn't let
You
that
can still
get
get the girl.
and you shouldn't let that bother. You shouldn't be bothered by that. You should just be yourself and not worry about what people think.
Yeah, because I guess that's the nice thing about George, right? He never tries not to be himself.
Yeah.
He's true to who he is. Okay, yeah, he gets like a wardrobe change, but he's still the sweet, innocent guy from the jungle. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel something that makes him very likable is the fact that he
he's hot.
is very hot, and he's always he laughs about himself. Like
Yeah,
when he
yeah,
crashes
yeah.
into a tree, he doesn't feel embarrassed. He just laughs and like he just keeps being himself.
Yeah.
And that's a good message, I think.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel happy.
Aw.
Aw. I see why this is your comfort film.
It's a movie that I watch when I'm feeling blue. I just put it on, and I feel like maybe I'm worrying too much.
Aw.
That's sweet.
Take a message from George, don't worry.
Exactly.
So yeah, those are my reasons.
Nice.
Cool, cool,
I would
cool,
recommend this movie to people who like stupid movies.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think, like, I remember it being played on TV when I was a kid. I might have watched it, but I couldn't remember any of it. I was more familiar with the cartoon, the TV cartoon.
There was a
but-
remake.
That's the
she
one
saw.
I saw,
Right.
yeah.
I never saw the remake. I saw the original cartoon when I was a kid. I sometimes put one of the shorts. Well, I thought the theme song was catchy, and I don't remember anything about it. So
Yeah, I have no real memory of it, to be honest. I just vaguely remember it.
Yeah.
Cool. Shall we get into the plot?
Let's jump right into
this is a very
it.
complicated plot. I think.
You
There's
may not be able
levels-
to follow
There are
it.
different levels of dreams, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Yeah. So the movie starts with an animated sequence that's like the theme song. Everyone knows the theme song of George of the Jungle, and he's telling his story how he was in a plane flying, I think, over Africa, and the plane crashes with a mountain and falls in the jungle. And as people are looking for him, they never find him, and he suddenly starts swinging on vines, and the music starts playing, and he's like a baby swinging on vines in the jungle. And they basically sing his story. He has a friend named Ape, an ape named Ape. His dog, his elephant is his dog, and basically he's very strong, and he's basically a Tarzan ripoff.
Yeah.
And after that, we turn to live action. After this funny little opening, and it doesn't start with George. It starts with Ursula.
Yes, we don't get
The-
to see him initially.
Right. It starts with the female lead of this movie. She's basically a rich white girl in Africa, like having, I think, like a vacation or something.
Yeah.
Like you can see that she likes like adventure. She's like doing a safari or how do you call this kind of
Yeah.
journeys? Yeah.
Safari.
And she's accompanied by the guides from this. What country is this? I mean,
I know
Ah,
they
they
speak
call it
Swahili. They speak
Yeah.
Swahili, but
I don't know where they.
they're set.
somewhere in Africa. They call it the Bujumbura or something like
Something like that.
that. Yeah, and she's like looking around the trees, like having fun, and then this guy shows up and out of nowhere.
Yeah, you're already showing like the difference between her and her fiance and how they treat like the guides. You know, she's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
nice
yeah.
to them, and it's like really.
This guy like really racist.
He's
and
such a
horrible.
dick.
He's the worst. He immediately like rubs them the wrong way. Like he
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, it's like carry my bags and
and shake a leg.
yeah.
Yeah. And then you immediately see that she doesn't like him. She's like physically uncomfortable next to him, and he's like trying to kiss her, and she's like like kind of very uncomfortable, and he's completely oblivious. Of course, he doesn't even. He's like a sociopath. He doesn't kind of see that she doesn't like him.
Yeah, I don't know. Like what I kind of liked about him as a villain was that he was obviously a dick, but he was like a bumbling fool as well.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he was never really like a massive threat, you know. He's just like as bumbling as George is at times, if not worse, you know.
Yeah, and it's also like not that dangerous.
Yeah.
Like the guy is just.
It's not that much of a threat.
What can he do? Like he's a complete buffoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just has his stupid haircut, the stupid like I don't know, like 90s
Yeah. Like,
white blonde hair, and like I don't know, he just looks like an asshole. And
It's in Uganda.
oh, okay.
That they are.
Uganda.
Yeah.
I see, but it's like a
So-
fake region. I think they
I
invented.
think so.
Yeah.
It's like the most dangerous part of the jungle.
Yeah.
And yeah, then so he comes to get her, and then at night they're basically camping,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like calling the hotel or something like that. He just wants to get her back, basically, out of the jungle. She's
Yeah.
like, no, I want to stay in the jungle. Like I want adventure and fun, and these hunters, because we don't know they're hunters. This Lyle, the fiance, has his own trackers. They basically
yeah.
say, hey, if you want to go see the apes, we can also go. We also want to go see the apes. But we need we would like to accompany you. And then he says, like, tell her the story about the apes, especially about this white ape.
Yeah.
He's like, the legend of the white ape. And it's basically, like, it's like it's basically him. But yeah, he tells him like it's really like scary. Like he's always, you can hear like it's heart-wrenching cry like in the middle of the night, and supposed to be like really strong and stuff. And basically they agree that they will go the next day to the ape mountain, I think it's called.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
To find this white ape, because everyone's so
and is that where they
curious.
cross the bridge, right?
Right. Then the
Yeah.
next day they're crossing a really like long rickety bridge
Yeah.
in the middle of a
And they're
giant.
like, don't move, like don't make any sudden
Yeah.
movements.
The main guide is like, hey, please don't don't move too much because this bridge is very old. And then out of nowhere, Lyle, the bad guy,
fiancé.
starts like, he said, I was in a bridge like this in Maui, steady as a rock, and he just starts like shaking it, and people are like really scared, and
Yeah.
he basically shakes it so much that one guy falls out the bridge to his death, and everyone's like, no!
I was genuinely like, oh my
You
god,
killed him, and the guy falls down like,
you just killed a
"Ah."
person.
And then, of course, the narrator explains like that no one dies in the movie, and then the next time
We just see him with like a bandage on his head, I think.
he has a bandage on his head, and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
my
boy.
god, it's so ridiculous. We basically committed murder, but since it's a cartoon movie,
It's
it
fine.
didn't
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if it's at night that Lyle then pulls her somewhere because they want to find the white ape, and he just pulls her.
No, this is during the day. Yeah, they basically everyone is
Yeah.
pissed at him because
Yeah,
he's an
yeah.
asshole,
Yeah.
and he tries to make
Oh,
up for it.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
right. He like gives them the camera or something. It's like, here's a camera, assuming that they're really
Yeah, he really
stupid
thinks
or
he
doesn't know about it. And
thinks
then
that they're basically like tribesmen.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're like modern day like people. Just-
Yeah, and then they talk in Swahili, and he's like, "Oh yeah," but he doesn't think it's as good as the
The
cone
35
Yeah,
millimeter,
millimeter, whatever.
something.
Yeah.
He thinks, he's like, here, magic picture. He takes a picture of him, gifts from America. Like,
Oh man.
the guy, like, yeah, they make fun of him basically.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
like, oh, okay, he gets pissed and he just takes Ursula to the jungle and he's like, hey, you know what? You want your white ape? Okay, I'm gonna get you your white ape. Like, if you want a decaffeinated like latte with the mocha chips on top, I can get you that. Like, if you want a white ape, I get you a white
Yeah.
ape. And he basically drags her to the jungle, like an irresponsible dick, and they immediately run into a lion.
Yeah, like he shouts around, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like making noises, and
Yeah,
then they
yeah.
hear a noise, and they're like, "Woo!" I got really scared there for a moment, and then
Me
a lion,
too.
and then a lion pops out,
Yeah.
a real lion.
And then he just runs away. He says, "Stay here. I'll go get help." And he just runs away.
But he
and then he
trips
trips
now.
and falls.
and knocks
What
himself
an
unconscious.
Idiot. What an idiot. Worst boyfriend ever.
Oh, boy.
Oh my god. And she's left to fend for herself. And
Yeah.
she's basically like, this
It's
is the
about to
end.
die. Yeah.
But of course, our hero is there, and he shows up shirtless and oiled for the
Just
ladies,
like we like it.
and very tanned.
very tan.
And
Do you
he's
think that's a real tan?
No, probably not.
Probably not.
I don't know. It's very
Very tan.
full-bodied tan.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and he just swings effortlessly through a vine, shouting like a maniac. Exactly. And he, of course, misses the lion and he slams into a tree. He falls down. He hits his balls with one of the branches. And then he falls down, and then the fight with the lion starts. I think it's one of the most ridiculous fights in movie history. Like,
Yeah.
it's just sometimes the lion turns into like a plush toy. And
Yeah.
he like pile drives the lion in the ribs, and like it's just so fake. But then he makes it spin on top of his head.
Yeah.
And it meows like a cat. It's like, oh my God. Well,
Yeah.
then he defeats the lion, but then another lion shows up, and then he like rescues Ursula, like swinging from a
Yes.
vine.
Yeah.
But he.
But then they like
hits-
swing
Yeah,
into
of
another
course.
tree and knock her unconscious.
Because we're talking about George of the Jungle. She's like, watch out for that tree. And then she slams her head against the tree and falls unconscious.
Yeah.
And he takes her to his tree house.
Yeah.
Where we meet another important character of the movie, which is his name is Ape, and he's an ape. And he's basically, for no reason, he's an ape that can talk, and he's like really
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah,
That's
Never-
never really explained, is it?
I think in the sequel, in the horrible sequel they did, he's supposed to have been in like a circus. I don't know, or maybe.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know, but I love that monkey, and for
Like
some
what I
reason-
love is the fact that the monkey speaks better English than George.
Yeah. George speaking like broken, like Tarzan English.
Yeah.
But the monkey speaks like perfect. He's like really smart. It's not only he can talk, he's like
Really smart. Yeah.
and he's like I don't know, it makes no sense. And he's basically like his dad, his friend, and his dad.
Yeah.
Then the next day, she wakes up and she's like in this weird tree house, and she's like, oh, where am I? And then George shows up, and then the ape, and she's like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? Like, who are you?
Yeah, she keeps fainting.
She thinks she's in a dream.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, oh, I'm still in that psycho dream. Hi. And then the monkey like, and she gets scared.
Boy.
Well, but the thing is, basically she faints, and she's like, oh, I think I should stop talking near her. I think it scares her. And then what happens then? And she...
I don't know if at that point is it that we go back to Lyle.
Right.
And then he starts to pretend like he fought with the lion.
Yeah, like that he's bloodied
Yeah,
and he
he
rips his
invents-
clothes.
Yeah.
And we also find out later that he's been like telling a really fake story, like that he fought like 5 lions or something.
Yeah.
And because the guides are like, well, a minute ago it was 1 lion and now it's 2, so
He was about to beat him, but then he made 2 of his lions like attack me or something. completely fake
Yeah.
story.
so they try and find her.
No.
And then this where
And
George
they carry him. They carry him in their back, like the guy.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, and then he face plants into some
Oh,
elephant.
that's later in the film. That's later. That's really
Okay, yeah.
stupid joke.
But I think
But then the next day, she's accepted the fact that she lives in a strange cartoon world with Tarzan ripoff, and she like comes out and she's like, "Hey, Ursula, you're awake. Oh, so nice." She's like, "Oh, thank you for saving me from that lion. You're very nice." "Oh, yeah, don't worry." They're very nice to each other.
Yeah.
And then he's basically he.
And then he introduces him to his pet elephant.
Yeah, he calls his
Which
pet
is like really
elephant.
bad
He calls his
CGI by
Poochie.
now.
I'm gonna call my Poochie. And he's a gigantic elephant that acts like a dog for no reason. He even like has his tongue out and he barks.
Yeah. It's really it's
And
a
he
bit
catches,
weird.
like he throws one log and then the elephant brings a completely different log.
Yeah.
And that's just because it's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
One-
much, yeah.
And then she meets the elephant. The elephant like grabs her with his trunk, and they become friends. Then of course they both start looking desperately for Lyle because she's like, "Oh, I really gotta find my fiance." And then they go like galloping with this elephant that runs like a dog. I don't think elephants can run like that. But then as the day goes on, she kind of forgets, and they start like having a really nice time, like riding in the elephant, like
swinging around on
Yeah.
lianas.
She basically starts having the adventure she wanted to have. She's like forgetting about this Lyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His fiance, the guy she was with, they called him because.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we.
Oh no, then because then George starts to like her, and then he asks Ape for advice on how to attract her.
But that's later. First, there's this stupid scene with the monkey where when
Oh,
we
that
know.
was so cute.
it's so cute, but it's so stupid.
So cute.
Yeah, really nice scene when
Yeah.
they're basically like, oh, sorry, like I got a message from this bongogram. Like I think somebody needs help, and he's like, oh, okay, let's go. And then he finds this little monkey who is with his monkey friends. And they basically, he tells George, because George can speak to monkeys, and the monkeys can speak to him. He tells him like that the friends didn't want to, I don't know.
They're like bullying him,
Yeah,
or they don't
They
want to
called
play
him-
with him.
Because he's too.
They called him a shrimp. In the Spanish version I saw, he didn't want to play Planet of the Apes. That's what they say. Is that the translation that they say? here?
In German, I think.
I don't know, actually.
I think they said something like what I understood was like, no, they don't want to play with him because he's too.
Yeah, no. In the
Monk.
Spanish version, or I don't know if in the English, I don't remember. They said like, and he didn't want to. They didn't let him play Planet of the Apes because he's like too small or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, too small, I think.
He's too small. That's
Yeah.
what they say in the German version. Like they don't want to play with him because he's too small.
Yeah, they call him. I think they called him a shrimp or something in English, and then basically he helps the monkey because he's such a nice guy. He basically there's a lion. Suddenly, a lion shows up, and the monkey. All the other monkeys get scared, but this monkey is not scared. He goes and faces the lion, and he starts banging on his chest like George, and he starts like saying like George, and then the lion suddenly gets scared. It leaves. But then we know, like, the lion shows up in, like, the foliage, and he looks at George, and they, like, they wink.
Winking.
They wink, like, ding,
Yeah.
because it was all George's plan. And then the other monkeys accept him.
Yeah,
Aw.
that's a
And
cute.
It's a very
scene.
A
cute
very
scene.
selfless, cute act.
Yeah.
And then they what you were saying.
He tries to attract
Ursula,
Ursula.
like with asking Ape for advice. So
Yeah.
of course Ape only knows how to attract
Yeah,
other
Monkey females.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so-
because it basically Ape is looking for George, and he finds him like sitting down on a treetop, and he has like a rose, like a flowers on him,
exactly.
and like he's trying to look nice, and he's like, oh, I don't know, George was just trying to look special today. That's all.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, but why? Like, I don't know. Like, is there a special feeling like happening inside George right now? It's like, oh yeah, please teach George how to
Make Ursula want George.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
gives him very, very good advice, which I think it's good real life advice. That's how I approach women.
That explains.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, basically shows him the ape way of like, I don't know, how do you say like
Attracting
a female,
Yeah.
right? Which is ridiculous. He has to like jump around, and, like throw leaves,
And like
around,
show her
and
his
pour
teeth.
through his
Yeah.
upper lip and like
yeah.
it's
Bang on his
ridiculous.
chest and yeah.
Basically, it's like, she's not gonna be able to resist. Oh my god! And then, they're like in a very expensive waterfall movie set, like the narrator says. She's like, I love having this adventure. I'm having so much fun. It's like, yeah, right. And then this song started playing. Basically, it's a funny song. And then he starts doing his move. He starts making a move on her, but she's of course weirded out by the fact that he's like acting like a complete maniac and like jumping around like a monkey.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But then he has another chance because at night,
They're dancing, no?
they
Oh, that's right,
He
yeah.
invites her to a dance because the apes start like. He tells her a story about how he had a crocodile or something. He has this crocodile tooth that he keeps.
Oh, that's
eating.
right. Yeah.
And
Oh, it's his lucky charm, and then
and
so
then
gives
they
him
have a-
juju.
Yeah, and then the monkeys start like playing the song. So he's like, Ursula, wanna dance? She's like, no, I don't dance. I don't wanna dance. Why not? She's like, no, because I would feel embarrassed. He's like, what's embarrassed? He's like, it's when you feel stupid in front of other people. Like, hasn't that ever happened to you, George? And he's like, no. Well,
there are other people
there
around.
are no other people around here. He's like, oh, right. And yeah, then he kind of gives her a bit of courage to kind of just dance and forget that about making a fool out of yourself. And then they have a very nice moment where they dance like idiots around the fire.
And then I think and then the next day, Lyle and the group find them, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right, they finally track them down, and they're looking at them basically through binoculars. And the guy's like, wait a minute, the white ape is a guy? Like, we're just being looking around a guy in a bikini, in like a leopard bikini or something. And he's like, oh, okay, no problem. And then Lyle is like, now he's all brave because he's just a guy. But then he's like, wait, would you say he's dangerous? And then they look at him through the binoculars. And he's like, hey, where's my little Poochie or something? Like, he's looking for his elephant. Like, something tells me he's not. And then he goes with he asks for his lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Which is shaped like a gun.
Exactly. He's like, I can scare him with this. But the guy, he grabs 2 lighters. He doesn't know which one is his. So he just picks one of them. They're both shaped like a gun.
Yeah.
So we know, like, shit, maybe he gave him the wrong one. But then he's like, oh, don't worry. Like, if he becomes aggressive, I'll scare him with this.
Mm-hmm.
And so he shows up. He's like, hi, I'm Lyle. Like, your man. Like, all brave and shit. And, of course, Ursula's like, she doesn't want, she's visibly like, oh, like, shit. Like, what are you doing here, Lyle? Like, it's like, I came to bring you back. But then what happens then? They find the ape. That the ape speaks. First, they want to hunt the elephant, the hunters.
That's right. They want the elephant because of its tusks.
Right. So then they want to shoot him, and George notices this. So he runs to stop the hunters, but Lyle confuses that. He thinks that George is trying to attack him.
Yeah.
And he tries to scare him with the lighter, but he accidentally shoots George. And it basically kills him. But no, of course, in this movie, no one dies. And in the next scene...
It was really... I find the explanation for the next part really weird, because I was like, he has like a plaster on his head. And she's like... And the narrator's like, oh, Ursula brought George back to the city
and
to treat him...
To give him the best medical care possible.
But you never see that, and he seems fine.
Yeah, it's just stupid.
It's like a weird excuse.
He has like one little band-aid in his forehead.
Yeah.
He should have been dead. And Lyle is in prison. Basically, they put him in the prison, in a horrible prison.
In an African prison, yeah.
Right. So, and then we're shown a scene where the guides, the local guides, are trying to help the police recognize who shot George.
That's great.
And there's a
really
bunch
funny.
of like really like fat, like completely different people, like black,
like there was like a
like a midget, like a giant, like fat guy, like a really like they look nothing like him. And then there's Lyle. He's like a really
right
like a white guy,
the
like
only white guy,
the only white guy. And he's like hiding behind one of the guys. He's like, that's him. I never forget a face. Like, that's the guy who shot George. And they're like, me? And then they're like, laugh like maniacs. Oh my god.
Oh boy. But then Lyle's 2 henchmen, they decide they want to go back to hunt down the talking ape.
Right, because they saw that the ape talked when they wanted to shoot the elephant. So they're like, we can get this talking ape and become famous. Like we can do like the new best thing in Las Vegas and like become rich. So then they're now that George is not there, no one is protecting the jungle, we can go and basically swipe the ape. And then we're shown how George's life is living in the big city.
Yep.
And it's very funny. Like he's in a car and what happened? He tries to play. He plays the radio. He puts his head.
Well, there's one bit. So they come back and like Ursula's avoiding her mum because she doesn't really want to tell her what's happened, and then her best friend comes round.
Yeah, right.
And this is our favorite scene, really.
Yeah.
I can see why.
It's like, he's in the shower.
Yeah.
And not anymore.
And then
then-
he's just standing there in front of them,
All
naked.
soapy and
All
wet.
wet.
And they look at him and they're like, wow, no wonder he's the king of the jungle.
And then Jesus like, come on, George, grab this big book
yeah.
to cover
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah.
It's kind
Oh
of
boy,
weird.
man.
Because he's like sexualized, but he's also like really dumb and childish.
Yeah. It's again, it's a weird thing for like a kids movie.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I don't know.
But it's funny. It's like kind of like
For
a
all the
bit-
moms in the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and he's in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, so,
Maybe that was a request by Brendan Fraser, who was like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna work out for this film
right.
Yeah.
unless I actually get to show it off properly in
Exactly.
one
And
scene.
if you're a mom and you have to go watch a movie with your kids,
You definitely.
why I don't want to watch this stupid kids movie. Oh, but wait, there's a hot guy in it.
Hot Brendan Fraser.
Okay, maybe I
Okay,
can
maybe,
get some
I'm in.
enjoyment out of this movie.
Exactly.
It's like
There you
eye
go.
candy.
Exactly.
It's eye candy.
So then I think Ursula goes.
Well, she has to buy him clothes because
Yes,
he's,
that's
like,
right,
has no
yes.
clothes.
Yeah, because he's just
Puts one of
wears
her
one of her
dresses.
dresses.
Right. And
Um,
after that, she has to leave because she has to tell his parents that she's not gonna marry Lyle. And no,
Yeah, she has to go and
Yeah.
tell her
she
parents.
doesn't want to marry Lyle. She still hasn't not acknowledged her feelings towards George. And she's just like, I don't want to marry Lyle. He's in prison. He's
Yeah.
a jerk. He shot George. Basically.
Yeah,
He's a bad guy. And yeah, but this is hard because his mother is very overbearing and she has high expectations. on
Yeah.
him.
So she's going to like see her dad. So she has to leave George behind in the apartment, and she's like,
Yeah.
just stay here, but do whatever you want to entertain yourself. And then I think he sees like an advert for like coffee.
And
Right,
it says
it's
like,
coffee brings us together.
exactly.
Yeah, like
Like-
it's this couple in an advert. So he thinks this is what will bring us together. So he just
He just
stuffs a
starts
bunch of
eating
coffee
coffee like
Oh.
grains. It's like munching on it like it's food.
and
he
gets
just-
totally high
it's
on like has this
complete-
total caffeine rush
He
and
goes crazy. Yeah.
goes outside and
And he has a day in the city.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then he saves he goes to different places.
Yeah, in the end, he sees like he does a lot of things. He like plays in a like the bongos, the drums in a
Yeah,
band. He goes in a train in the city, like on top of
Yes.
it. Yeah, he has like lots of fun. He eats a burger.
Yeah, that's the
Um,
other thing that this movie has a lot of product placement.
Oh, right, yeah, of course.
He's
Yeah.
eating McDonald's. Should I
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
No. Oh, well.
Well,
He,
I
he's
don't know.
eating
that big fast food
McDonald's.
chain.
Yeah.
But then he sees like the biggest, like because he likes this. He thinks that the things in the city are like the same as the things in the jungle. He thinks like buildings are like really big caves or tree houses. He thinks that I don't know, like the car is like he says this car is much faster than my peanut eating like Pucci or something. He's talking about
Yeah.
this elephant. So he's like, oh, this is the biggest like swing bridge, like the biggest bridge I've
yeah,
seen.
it's like
And
the Bay Bridge. And
the Bay Bridge, and he's like, oh, I need to get into this bridge, and then he starts climbing on it, but then he sees there's a man like hanging from
it's
a
a
parachute.
paraglider.
Right, a paraglider.
But he like got caught in the wires of the bridge, so now he's just hanging there, needing rescuing.
And then he says to swing or not to swing,
Yeah,
quoting Shakespeare for no reason. That's the one
Oh
of
boy.
the not so great jokes, but it's innocent. And then he decides he has to save this man, so he starts. Yeah, that's actually a pretty cool stunt. Like it looks like a lot of fun to like swing.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking like the poor stuntmen who had to do these next two stunts, not only
Yeah.
like swinging like on this long ass piece of rope,
Yeah.
presumably along the Bay Bridge, but then also being swept up in a parachute afterwards.
Yeah. It's actually pretty fun. Like yeah. I think this would have been done today with lots of CGI, basically, like having the actor in a green screen. But it's a
Yeah.
real guy, like swinging from the Bay Bridge. And it looks scary. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. So he saves the paraglider, but then he gets pulled away by the wind.
And it's first the parents they see it on TV. And
yes.
they're like, oh, look at this. She goes to his dad. He's like, about to tell him, and then he's like, hey, look, Ursula, this interesting stories happening in the bridge.
Yes,
And
that's
then
right.
like, oh shit, that's
And then she's
George.
like, "Oh my God, that's George!" And then her
she
mum's like having her hair done and sees them in the news when they
Yeah,
find each
yeah,
other
yeah,
again.
yeah. It's just like, oh, who's this guy? Oh, this is not Lyle. No,
Yeah.
this cannot be.
Yeah, so she goes to where George is, and he gets he lands on a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, she saves him
And-
basically. She's like, hey, please, we need to use this boat to catch this George.
Yeah.
And then the guy
And she's
George-
like, please let me on the boat.
yeah, and then they managed to get. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess they could have saved him anyways if he would have fallen in the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's cool that he manages, and of course he crashes
Yeah.
into the boat.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, they're basically like, oh, George, you did such a good thing. Then they're like, he's like, this coffee thing really worked.
Yeah.
But then
And then I
basically-
think Ursula has to tell her parents now who've kind of seen this. And
Right.
I love how the film initially is like, and of course they were very accepting of a decision. No, of course they weren't. Like
She
just
goes
going mad.
crazy. She drops her glass of a cup of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She hates George.
Yeah, like her mom in particular is like, you're
Yeah.
still gonna marry Lyle. You
Yeah, the
can't
dad is
just-
more accepting. He's like, but it's not your marriage. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
wrong? But she's like, no, this cannot be. Like, it's impossible. She's like hell bent on stopping this marriage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then they have and then there's a great bit where they come out, like she wants to introduce them to George, and then they're carrying out the big wedding cake or engagement
Yeah.
cake.
And of
then-
course, George swings from a thing and crashes into the cake. Of course.
This is the point where I started to wonder, where does he keep finding these lianas
No,
to
it's
swing
so
from?
stupid.
It's just
Why
out
does
of
he need
nowhere.
to swing all the time? It's like he was always looking for things to swing from.
Oh,
It's so
boy.
ridiculous.
Yeah. So not a great first impression.
No, really bad, man. And they splash cake all over the parents. They're like, hey, hello.
Hello.
This is George.
And then they have the engagement party, I think.
Yeah, this party is like orchestrated by Ursula's mom to kind of get George out of the picture. Because she's like, hey, George.
But there's also this scene where he's just running with the horses.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Just like
Oh
looking-
my god.
And all the women in the other party.
Yeah,
are
he's just in this
like,
paddock and he's wearing this beautiful, like, loose white shirt that's like unbuttoned.
Yeah.
And his
yeah.
long hair is
He
just
looks-
floating in the wind, just in slow mo, just riding like next to this elegant horse. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh my god.
And all the girls are like hypnotized.
Jesus,
Yeah,
yeah, they're like, oh my
exactly,
god,
exactly.
wow.
And they say he has essential intelligence.
Essential intelligence. Yeah, exactly.
And the guys are like, what's with chicks and
What?
horses?
Oh boy,
God.
yeah. But then the mom takes George aside and is like, "You,
She tells him a really horrible thing.
Yeah,
she tells him like,
she's
really
"Oh,
horrible."
where you come from?
Zebras,
in-
marry
in-
zebras, and
yeah.
and
and
leopard
cheetahs, very cheetahs. And,
Yeah.
and he's
Like-
like,
Spots and
Ex-
stripes.
Exactly.
and Ursula is a stripe. It's
and
like,
you
I'm
are a
not
spot."
gonna let
"Are
you.
a spot. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah,
Ursula's mom don't want George with Ursula. She's like, right.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, oh no, but yeah, basically she tells him that she doesn't allow it, and since George is such a good guy, he's like heartbroken. He's like, okay, so I guess this won't happen then.
Yeah.
And he goes all depressed to his apartment, and he's like all sad and big and lost in the big city.
Yeah, and then in the meantime, Ape has been captured by the other two guys,
Right.
and so they sent Tuka, is it?
Tuki.
Tuki,
Tuki.
to bring over a message to George, and that's
Yeah.
the moment where Tuki.
Yeah, and then basically
arrives.
doesn't know what to do, and then Tuki shows, and he tells him basically, Ape has been
It's
captured.
only when I pronounce it like Tuki. I'm like, man. Tuki. I'm going to try and say that name as much as possible now. So, Tuki arrives in the big
and
city.
tells George that Ape has been captured and that they need him back.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll go. But then he leaves this crocodile tooth in,
Oh, that's right, yeah.
in
So his own...
Ursula's hand as a
Yeah.
reminder that he's...
Which I kind of think is maybe a little bit dangerous. What if she turns over during the night and kind of impales herself.
It is a bit dangerous.
But it's a movie, and it's if no one
It's
dies,
romantic.
no, if no one dies, no one's gonna
That's
get
true.
impaled.
That's
Yeah, we
true.
already know that no one is gonna die. They
Yeah.
said it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then he goes to the jungle and he's like shipped in a box, like he's coming out
Yeah,
of a
and
crate.
then there comes
did he
like
do
another
that?
big
Yeah,
product
like
placement
Air,
thing.
like Air
Yeah.
Nike or something. But no, it's like
Yeah.
what? No, Air Jordan.
No, like there are Air Jordans, but I think these ones are not with Jordan.
Right. But
Yeah.
there's some really.
Yeah.
And it's literally like a
awesome
close-up shot.
Like there are like
Right.
several close-up
Yeah.
shots.
No, and he's
of
like
him.
he needs to run through the whole like
Yeah.
country. He needs to
Yeah.
go and he's like, I need some good shoes to do it. He's like, he puts the shoes on like because
Yeah,
he doesn't wear
yeah.
shoes. And now it's like with these
Yeah.
shoes he can definitely run for like hours,
Yeah.
days without getting tired. Basically runs the whole time.
Yep. Followed by Tuki Tuki.
Followed by Tuki Tuki. And as this is happening, the bad guys are still carrying the ape because
buddy.
they have been tricked by the ape to kind of go around the mountain a few times, and then they start fighting the narrator. That's
This is the thing where I got a little bit confused because at one point I assumed Ape was the narrator.
no.
No.
But so does John Cleese voice both
He's
of
both.
them?
He's both.
Okay.
But
But
he's
it's
not
two
the
different
character.
characters.
Yeah.
Ah,
He
okay.
has a different voice. Like he speaks like this. Like
Okay.
in English at least.
Hmm.
He has makes a different impression.
Okay.
And then the characters start discussing, like arguing with each other because one of them is very tired and they're tired of pushing this cage through the jungle. And then one of them basically like starts arguing with the narrator, and the narrator like kind of like punishes him, like sends like a lightning bolt or something.
Yeah. Shakes the ground or
It's like,
something.
Thor, are you arguing with the narrator? He started it, did not. You did so,
that's
did
so
not. Oh, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
And then George shows up to save the day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so fast with his new shoes that he just shows up and starts having a really stupid fight scene again. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, this is like really cartoony.
But it's so funny. Like they start like tickling him, like they.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like
Yeah.
he like rolls over one of the guys, and then when he stands up, he has the jacket. Like, on
Oh,
that's
himself.
right, yeah.
How did that happen? He kicks them in the balls. They tickle him.
Then
Oh,
the
boy.
elephant and the monkey.
And he uses
come.
his armpit as
Oh, that's right.
to fight them off.
Oh boy. And in the meantime, like Ursula's had a conversation with her parents and she realizes that she's in love with George.
Right, that's when she realized.
So she goes up. That's when, and then she comes in during the fight scene, doesn't she? She
Just
shows up.
as George is about to lose, she
Yeah.
saves him in the right, the last moment, and then she's like, George, I need to tell you something.
Very important.
Ursula, wait now. Like George has
Yeah.
to deal with something, and he just drops her like on the floor.
Yeah.
And then he gets rid of the mercenaries because they hired mercenaries to capture the.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
And then
yeah.
they get peed on by the elephant.
Yeah.
He gives like an epic speech. No,
Because
he's
Lyle shows
saved.
up.
No, first. No, but the monkey ninjas. They at some point I think-
Yeah, they come in and save him. No.
he.
But I
manages-
think so. No, so I think there's the two mercenaries, and then Lyle comes in, and he's part of this.
right
thing,
right,
so-
yeah.
Right. So they beat the thieves, the poachers, and
Yep.
then Lyle shows up out of nowhere
Yep.
wearing like this clothes, and he explains that he escaped by joining like a weird cult.
Yeah.
That basically made
And now
him-
he's like certified to marry people.
Yeah, it's like a cult from Lake Tanganyika or something, and he
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
basically is like, he's authorized to perform marriages. And,
So he basically kind of kidnaps Ursula to
Mhm.
try and get them married.
and he hires mercenaries to take care of George, which of course they put him in a cage,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
they
and-
speak English but have subtitles in English. I don't understand. It's so
That's
bizarre.
No, that was the thing. Like in the German version, they're German.
That exactly. That's what I was gonna ask you, because like they were speaking German, but they also had like subtitles
But in English.
But in English,
But they
also
did this
speak
like
English.
exaggerate, like a different type of German accent.
Yeah, here they also think they have an accent, maybe like an African accent.
Oh, okay.
But they speak English, and they put English subtitles. I think it's like a joke, kind of like in this movie Airplane.
Maybe.
I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
That joke with the black guys like
Yeah.
having subtitles. I think it's kind of similar. But the basically George gets rescued by his
Monkey
apes,
ninjas.
monkey ninjas that come and the suits are so stupid looking. I think they're I think I prefer. I mean, for a movie this stupid, I think I prefer like monkey suits than like CG gorillas. Like I think
Yeah,
It's still
definitely.
it still
adds
looks
to the
better.
comedy, and they look more realistic than the CG. Like it's just you can kind of pretend that they're real gorillas.
Yeah.
And yeah, they come with like nunchucks made out of bananas, and one of them like chops a rock in half.
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
have like kung fu, and they take care of the mercenaries.
Yep.
And then George makes
Goes
the
after-
elephant pee on them.
Ugh, yeah.
That's a final blow.
Yeah.
And then he goes after Ursula and Lyle. Tries to rescue
Right.
Ursula.
Yeah, because Lyle is like now completely like gone insane.
Yeah.
He's basically like
Yeah.
dragging Ursula around, not listening to anything she's saying, and basically like saying like, no, okay, you know what? I think I'm willing to give you another chance. Like he's completely like gone
Yeah.
at this point. And he's going inside of the jungle. He doesn't know where he's going, and they both fall into a river by accident. He has a raft, and then
Yeah, like this. She's like, "Do you know where we're going?" And then they fall down into this like chute,
right.
and they get thrown down into this river where Lyle has a boat waiting
Right.
for them.
Yeah, he's like, I told you I had a boat waiting.
I had a plan.
And then he's like, Ursula, my love, like, do you accept me, Lyle, Van de Groot, as your husband? And she's like, get a grip, Lyle. Like, he doesn't understand.
And then they have like, and then they're moving towards another waterfall, as we've seen.
And today there's been a lot of swinging monkeys and waterfalls.
Yeah.
Yep.
And basically, he doesn't see that there's a waterfall. She's like, Lyle, a waterfall. And it's like,
Yeah.
my God. And then they're going to these rapids and like almost dying. And George sees this.
Yeah.
He's like, this is going to be the biggest swing in jungle history. Like, but I have to do it. Like, George has to do it. And he basically swings like, it's so stupid. He grabs a vine and he just speeds through the forest. And,
And he gets like faster and faster. and
incredible
faster.
speeds. Like his face goes like, his skin starts like flapping around because of the speed of his swing.
Yeah.
And he smashes towards a tree. That he smashes so hard that you can see from the other side of the tree, like the bark like flies off. It's like George doesn't feel so well.
Yeah.
Then the
tree falls,
the
yeah.
trunk falls down, and he's able to catch Ursula
Yeah.
just in time,
Mm-hmm.
leaving
Lyle.
Lyle to be raped by a gorilla. It's horrible.
Exactly.
He enters
Yeah,
a cave,
that's true.
and he's like, Ursula. He doesn't know that Ursula is not there, and
Yeah.
because it's so dark. And he's like, hey, Ursula, do you accept me as your husband? And
And then
he hears like a weird noise, and he's like, oh, okay, cool, we're married. Then he turns on the light, and this is a gorilla in the boat for no reason. And he gets raped by the gorilla. Oh my god.
Man.
No, he gets smooched by the gorilla.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, then I guess they just say I love you and
They
get
finally
and get
Ursula,
married.
confesses her love.
happily ever after.
They have a kid.
Yeah, they have a
And
kid.
At the end, the final scene is him presenting the kid as Mufasa
Yeah.
does with Simba.
Yeah,
It's
on a
like
rock.
a Lion King.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he
Exactly.
says, how did this kid become like a king of the jungle and stuff like that? And he's like,
I think
George's just lucky.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And then that's the end of the movie.
And then we find out in a post-credit scene. I
Yeah.
guess
Ah,
it is
yeah,
that
yeah,
ape made it in Vegas.
Yeah, he's singing.
Yeah, he's like a singer.
Sinatra.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
funny
Nice.
movie for the family.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
fun.
It's really
A lot of
fun.
fun, a lot of laughter.
So how do you say the thin
Li-
vines?
yeah, lianas.
I
Lianas?
don't know, I give it 10. 10,
Okay.
yeah, 10. 10 out of 10. Certified movie, everyone should watch it.
Aw.
You're not gonna be you're not gonna regret that you watched it. I mean, you're never gonna be like, oh, this movie's so boring.
No,
Like,
yeah, exactly.
it's just you're gonna giggle at least. Like, and it's just not that long. It's like an hour and a half of stupid monkey jokes. And
I mean, in a way, I kind of wish they'd have leaned even harder into the slapstick in a way.
yeah,
But yeah, it's good.
but it's a nice.
It's a sweet film.
It's a sweet film. Yeah.
sweet, harmless movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you'd really fall in love with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I would give
Oh,
it
do I fall in love with Brendan Fraser? Jesus.
And his sensual intelligence.
essential intelligence. I think I would give it maybe like an 8. For me, the joke with the tree gets
Yeah,
too
gets
Gets
old.
a bit odd. Yeah, they overplay some of the
Yeah,
jokes.
but I
It's
guess-
like, okay, we get it. He crashes into trees.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
think sometimes, it gets a little bit old for me. But yeah, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot when I was a kid. And yeah, I think it's it's a sweet film.
Yeah, I think I would also give it 8. I think maybe for me, I agree with you that some of the jokes get overplayed to an extent, and I do notice that it is on like a level that I think I would probably enjoy it a lot more as a kid. That it's obviously aimed at kids, but yeah, it's like a sweet, fun film that you can enjoy every so often. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not gonna do any damage.
No,
No,
exactly.
exactly. And once more, we have some movie fake. Well, no, not
No
fake.
fake.
What am I saying?
We're just
Some very
we're-
real.
Some very real movie mistranslations. What I was gonna say. Oh boy. I guess I'll start.
Yeah.
Shall I?
I mean, I don't. If you say the one that I also have, then I don't have anything.
I
else.
don't think so. I
Okay.
just picked this one out now.
Okay.
So the one I picked was Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs,
Oh, okay, nice.
and it's the Israeli title for it.
I think I read this.
And the Israeli title for it, I don't know, I guess maybe they don't have as many meatballs in Israel, maybe. I guess this is more fitting. It's raining falafel.
Oh my god! Of course.
Yeah.
But do they actually CG falafel?
Falafel in instead of
Instead of
meatballs.
meatballs.
Because the audience, that must be like mismarketing in Israel then.
Wait,
Because
but
it's like,
in Spanish it's called hamburger rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It rains but I guess the first thing that he makes rain is a hamburger. So
Yeah.
it makes sense.
And how do you
Okay.
translate meatballs?
Sorry?
How do you translate
Albóndigas.
meatballs? Albóndigas. Oh, okay.
so it would have worked.
Yeah, it would have worked. Yeah. But I think
But I guess lluvia de albóndigas sounds...
sounds kind of gross.
Yeah, exactly. I think lluvia de hamburguesas
Mm.
is like a little bit more enthusiastic. I think kids like more hamburgers than
Yeah, yeah,
meatballs.
Yeah, they are more appealing.
And apparently in Israel they like more
Falafel.
falafel.
So yeah, because it's like I wonder if it was like mismarketed, because then people walked into the cinema expecting it to rain falafel, and then it just rained meatballs.
Yeah, I guess maybe they made them believe that the meatballs were actually falafels.
You think they maybe the dubbing replaced meatballs with falafel,
Yeah, I don't know. Probably.
but I'm pretty sure the
It's
meatballs are
probably-
pretty visible in the movie.
No,
I
it was
know,
probably
but
some
maybe-
marketing
but-
thing. They were like the
Yeah.
marketing people were like, people in this country don't really eat that many burgers.
Or meatballs.
Meatballs. And probably the word for meatball in Israeli sounds like weird, and they were like, what else can we put? Like, what do people
What
eat?
do people like?
Just
Falafel.
Everyone loves falafel.
Yeah,
It's
well,
a traditional
it's raining falafel.
food, and they came up with that.
but I'm aware that this might be a very stupid question, but is falafel from Israel?
I think it's like an Middle
think
Eastern.
each country has,
Okay,
like, its own
exactly,
version.
exactly. Okay, exactly.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the version that I know of falafel is not from Israel. So
No,
for me, it was
I think
like,
I think it's a Middle Eastern.
Ah,
Like
okay.
I've been to Lebanese restaurants that do
Okay.
falafel. And,
oh, okay, cool. So
Yeah.
we're good.
yeah,
So we're good.
well, it's good. It makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
So give us yours.
Mine is for that classic Oscar award-winning film Annie Hall. which German title is Der Stadt Neurotica, which would translate to the urban neurotic.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, my problem is that it's there, so it's obviously referring to him,
Yeah.
to Woody Allen's character. So my problem with it is that it takes the focus from Annie Hall, which is the main character of the film, and it puts it back on Woody
him.
Allen's character.
Oh.
So for me, it's like, because I thought it was Die Stadt Neurotica. So I thought, they're referring to her as a neurotic woman? That's not nice. And then I know it's there.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so you're just making the film about him.
Maybe
Yeah.
Germans are sexist. They're not gonna go want to see a movie.
They were like, no
About
one
a
wants
woman.
to see. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because then I just wondered why they had to change the title.
Yeah.
Because Annie Hall is a pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I don't know. But like, for example, in Spanish, when movies have, the movie title is a name, they tend to change it because you cannot translate a name. And then if the name sounds foreign, then people cannot pronounce it, or I don't know. So
Yeah.
they usually try to change
Yeah.
the name. So I don't know. But in German, German is a little bit more similar to English. But
Annie Hall. I mean, you can pronounce that.
yeah,
As a German
yeah,
person.
exactly.
Unlike
exactly.
96 Hours. What a load of bollocks.
Bollocks. Yeah, and that is my movie title for today.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
Tuki.
I've had
Tuki.
fun. We
Me
may
too.
not have been. I didn't feel like I could really be that critical about this film because it doesn't take
No.
itself too seriously and
Yeah.
it's just there to entertain, really. It's not
Yeah.
a bad film.
No, I mean it's a comfort film. It's a film that
Yeah.
you watch when you're really
Need
when you
comfort.
want to be happy.
When you need comforting.
Yeah, exactly.
And since it has this tone where the movie itself knows it's a stupid movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can you say about
exactly,
it? It's
yeah.
like it
Yeah,
already
you
knows.
cannot attack something, say, "Oh, this is stupid." Yeah, I know.
Oh, I
it's
know.
Stupid.
It knows
That's
it's
the point.
stupid. Yeah.
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 But it was nice
Yeah.
to remember that film.
Yeah. We hope you guys enjoyed it listening.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And if you ladies or gentlemen, you have a lonely night and are tired of porn, of your regular porn, just tune in for some soapy
Oh, Brendan Fraser.
Mhm,
Brendan
mhm.
Fraser.
Or if you love horses
Oh, yeah.
and haven't, have a lonely night, then just rewatch
Oh, weird.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Oh,
true.
by
that,
the way-
that was worded weirdly.
There's
the way-
one scene in the sequel that I find funny.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
it's basically Lyle is trying to get Ursula back, and he kind of tries to reenact this horse thing,
sí,
and it's funny because it's the same actor, and he's just trying to do the same thing, and
Yeah.
he gets dragged around, like he grabs the horse tail, and he's like being dragged on the ground.
Okay.
It's the only scene that I think it's
Okay.
worth
Watched
watching
it.
in the whole movie.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, well.
Thank you so much, Andres,
No problem.
once again. Thank you, everyone who tuned in this weekend.
Yeah.
Or this week, I guess.
This week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever.
Whenever you're
Listening.
listening to this. Do you have anything else to add, my darling?
No, not really. I mean, just we hope that you stay tuned for our next episode.
Yeah.
It will be binge week again next week.
Yeah, The Sopranos, bitch.
Woo!
Thank you so much, guys. I'm
Yeah.
Altair.
I'm Hazel.
I'm Andres.
Woo!
See you. See you next week. Bye.
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 If you like this episode, why not hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode? And if that's still not enough, you can follow us on Instagram at elevatorpitch_pod to stay up to date with all the latest news.